I was looking over this material here, City of Babylon, from chapter 24 of Beelzebub's Tales. And it was a question for Beelzebub that had interested him. And then there were in the process of seeking an answer to this question, observing manifestations of those learned beings of the once great city of Babylon, observing them and their individualities. The question he is talking about is this reciprocal destruction of us three-brained human beings here on planet Earth, the periodic need to destroy the existence of other people, other beings. Why is that? Why is that? Why is there this need to destroy people? And Beelzebub, the irresistible urge grew to find out the exact cause of this. And among the learned beings of the city of Babylon was one Hammelinadיר. And upon meeting with Hammelinadיר, the same relations were established as in general prevail between three-brained beings who often meet one another. Well, that's the same as saying one Zen master meets with another Zen master, total strangers that never met each other before in their entire lives. Zen master meets with another Zen master, and immediately it's well, good to see you, you old bastard, old friend. That's the feeling. They know each other, even though they haven't ever met each other. That's what he's saying here. And Hammelinadир was one of those learned beings in whose common presence the factors for the impulses of a three-brained being, which had passed to him by heredity, were not entirely atrophied, speaking in terms of essence. And moreover, it turned out that during his preparatory age, the responsible beings around him had prepared him to be more or less normally responsible. This is the same description given by Gurdjieff about himself, how he was raised, how he was given a good preparatory early life education, like that. Which is to say that Gurdjieff became something of a Hammelinadир himself. And in the city of Babylon, there were many such learned beings there. Hammelinadир was descended from the race of beings called Assyrian. And his rising and preparation for becoming a responsible being had taken place in that very city of Babylon. His knowledge had been acquired in Egypt in the highest school of all those existing on the earth, all schools existing on the earth at that time. It was called the School for Materializing Thought. And Hammelinadир is at an age when his I am, true self, had attained the maximum stability possible for a three-brain being of planet Earth. A very highly developed being, Hamilinidir. So that during his so-called passive waking state, ordinary state of consciousness, he had being manifestations that were very clearly expressed. Such as a consciousness of self, impartiality, which of course means to be aware of associations. All associations, of course, are connected with moving center, moving function. Impartiality is a constant awareness of those associations. And to be separate, that is to say, in a state of non-identification, in that seat of I, true I am, always knowing the associations are going on. Of course, there are also those qualities of sincerity, sensitivity, resourcefulness, and so on, which goes with being real I. When you are not identified and busy doing, mechanically doing things along the usual worldly lines, cause and effect lines. The meetings between learned beings at that time, question of the day, and was a cause of agitation of minds throughout Babylon, was the question of the soul. And the problem was the way people were going back and forth between one another about the soul, question of the soul, and making up all kinds of theories, each one contradicting the other. Hamilinidir gave a whole speech on it, noticing this, and this tendency to, well, so much for that now, let's move on to politics. And it's like the world of today, and that's when all that began, and all of this constant outward attention on politics and world events, and no attention given to the inner life, the life of I am.